I want to talk about the instant impact contributors that this Arizona football team that were brought in by Brent Brennan, because I think these are some players that we need to highlight, because remember, for the longest time they kept saying, oh, he doesn't have any players, this and that. All right. Let's talk about some of these instant impact players, because there's quite a few of them. The running back position, Jacory Croskey Merritt and Quali Conley. These guys both merit a lot of touches. They're very good.
Jacory Croskey Merritt, a lot of that was good. Yeah, instant impact, both really good. I'd put that combo up there with pretty much anyone. I feel great about Arizona's running back room.
Yes. All right. So they're two very nice. Now let's talk about Sam Olson from San Jose State. Sam Olson is good. Sam Olson is going to play. Sam Olson is, I think you could make the case he's about as good as anybody that's in the tight end room, Skier.
Yeah, it's going to be really funny because Sam Olson could absolutely be one of those guys that only catches like 13 passes this year because the room is so spread out, but like 6 of them are touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of those guys.
It's like NFL looks off like 12 catches.
Yeah, because he's good. And I will say, I think you can make a case. With Burnett's great also. Olson, they're using probably in the most amount of different ways, right? He's fullback, wide receiver, and tight end are 3 positions that he's lined up at.
Okay, now, so you got that, obviously. Now let's talk about Jeremiah Patterson, another one, Raymello Murphy as well. These are guys that are going to play as well. Again, both instant impact type guys. Jeremiah Patterson, I think I have a little bit higher expectations for. I'm not saying that Raymello Murphy isn't that dude, but again, 2 more guys that are going to be instant impact type guys.
They're both good. I have confidence in both. I think Raymello. I'm always wondering if Raymello played today because I don't recall seeing him. And that I don't know if that's a knock there because like Riley, I didn't notice wasn't playing until either. Yeah, I mean Patterson is a steal at this point. Mello, at the very least, is a very good rotational guy. There's nothing wrong with having him in your top 6. Yeah, again, it's a deep receiver room. And a good portion of that is because of Brent Brennan and Bobby Wade.
All right, now let's talk on the defensive side as well. We're going to count Chuba as somebody that came in with Brent Brennan because he had to sell Brent Brennan. Brennan. Yeah, we count Chuba. Plus, he's going to be a huge culture fit for this team. Chuba, then you have Trey Smith. Both those guys starters. Both those guys Brent Brennan ones as well.
Trey Smith has had some really good practices the last week. I mean, really good. I think he has a tackle for loss in like the last 3 or 4 practices. He blew up a play today. He's good. I like him a lot. I'm not sure we're talking about him enough, to be honest.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about him again in a second.
That's actually a good question by Joseph, by the way. What would have happened if Arizona landed Elijah Badger?
I actually don't want Elijah Badger at this point. He don't want to be here. We don't want him.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, would they have added Patterson? I don't think they would have added Patterson if they got that.
And honestly, I know that you and I have very differing opinions when it comes to Malachi Riley. You are a denier. I am a huge advocate.
I like Malachi Riley. He's had a very, very good camp.
But
the thing with Badger, I know Badger's really good, but he's also an injury waiting to happen.
Right. So, yes, he's an injury waiting to happen, and I don't want to bury Malachi Riley in all of this. I think Malachi. What's that?
Your starting receivers are locked up. I know we talk about Patterson, but it's 100% going to be T-Mac, Riley, Montana, with Patterson, Hyatt as the next 2.
All right. Well, I don't like it, but it is what it is. I mean, they also don't seem to care what I say. I've tried to get them. I tried getting a job as an analyst today on the staff, and I was thrown away.
Real quick, you were shut down.
No, I went up to him and I said I would take an analyst job, and so there was none of that. So, and then obviously at the in the secondary, then that's also where it becomes interesting. You got Marquise Groves Killebrew. You've got Owen Goss. You've also, I mean, the 2 guys that I think are, especially Goss, that are going to play big stuff.
Yeah. Groves Killebrew is going to probably start, and he's a little bit more of a competition than I thought he might be in, but he's probably going to start, and Goss is going to play quite a bit. We go back to who's that Martell Irby guy, and everyone has said Goss, so he's absolutely going to play, and another 2 guys that are going to play quite a bit, whether they start or not.
When you consider, and Ben White made this point about plugging holes, and
Yeah.
Ben White made this point, and he said, I thought it was an interesting point he made in our group text, where he said he's done an amazing job. And I got to give Ben White all the credit on this one, but he said that Brent Brennan really did an amazing job of plugging all these holes that you needed basically immediately after taking over. I mean, he did. When you think about it, Shearer, he did an A+ job as far as plugging all the holes that you needed.
Yeah, I think the offseason, he nailed it. You know,
he did.
He really did. He brought in dudes at positions of need. And I know everyone gets excited about recruiting rankings, and I do too, and all that. But a lot of times you simply need to, plug in holes, right? And that's what he did. He plugged in holes on the end, especially, and at receiver and defensive end. And, he did well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about Ben White, being that he is in California, he's able to also kind of look at things from kind of a different perspective. And I thought there was an excellent point. We always want to give credit where credit is due. Ben White, thank you very much for that. We will take the credit for it. Now, with let me I got to give a shout out as well to somebody. I have been wrong on something on this show. I know it's hard to believe.
Whoa.
I know. Whoa. It's hard to believe. Mike Nitkowski, who is also on your boards, I believe he's AZ Fanatic. I have been calling Rhino for basically a year now. I've been saying that Rhino came in that class, the Bishop Alemany class, with Kevin Green and with
you're right.
Prysock. I was wrong. He did not come in. He came in the year after that. I do apologize. Nitkowski, you are much smarter than me. That is the Flowing Wells education coming to the forefront. I do apologize. But Rhino, though, joking aside, Rhino's been fantastic, though. Rhino has been kind of what I think everybody was hoping he would be. And you got to remember, too, if you go back and you look at Rhino, this isn't some dude like there's some putts on Twitter, the ASU guy, the real Mercked guy or whatever, who keeps talking about him like, he was like this walk-on or whatever. Rhino came in here with a lot of expectations. I think there were questions whether he was going to be a guard, whether he was going to be a tackle, whatever it was, but it seems like he's really settled in here, Skier.
It's funny because like and rightfully so, we said, oh, one of the biggest questions is left tackle and who's going to be it. He's a starter. He's been the starter since the first day of camp. He's going to be the starter for the first game. And this is a guy where, he wasn't ranked all that high. I think we had him as a 3-star. I'm looking right now. We had him as a 3-star, but Colorado, ASU, Indiana, Kansas, Louisville, Oregon State, San Diego State, SMU.
Exactly.
That's a pretty solid offer list.